Have you ever wondered what really walks the halls of the White House after dark? Some say Abraham Lincoln still roams the Lincoln bedroom. Shadowy figures appear where no one should be, and whispers of the past echo through empty corridors. Tonight, we step inside the most powerful house in America to uncover the ghosts, the Jinn, and the secrets that refuse to die. The White House stands in Washington, D.C., glowing in white under the silent night sky, a symbol of power, secrets, and history. But when darkness falls and the city sleeps, the corridors of this famous residence are said to awaken. Imagine walking alone through the long hallways, your footsteps echoing softly on the polished floor, while portraits of past presidents watch you in complete silence. Suddenly, you feel a cold breeze touch your neck, and you realize if the windows are closed. Guards and staff have whispered for decades that this place is not just home to presidents, but also to unseen residents, ghosts and Jinn who never left. One of the most terrifying stories is about Abraham Lincoln. People claim they have seen his tall, shadowy figure standing quietly in the Lincoln bedroom, staring out of the window as if still thinking about the nation he once led. Some witnesses say they heard slow footsteps behind them, only to turn around and see nothing except a tall figure fading into the wall. Late at night, when the building is almost empty, strange sounds are reported, doors opening, whispers in empty rooms, and the sound of someone walking across the halls. Some believe these are spirits of former presidents, soldiers, and servants who lived and died within these walls. Others say powerful Jinn dwell here, attracted by the emotions, power, and secrets buried in the White House's history. Imagine being alone in the East Wing, lights flickering, and suddenly hearing a voice calling your name. You follow the sound, walking deeper into the darkness, your heart pounding, until you reach the Lincoln bedroom. The door slowly opens by itself. Inside, the air feels heavy, and a shadow stands near the bed. You blink once, and the shadow is gone. But you feel it watching you from behind. Stories like these have been shared by presidents, first ladies, guards, and workers. Some laugh them off, but others refuse to stay alone at night. The White House may look peaceful and powerful in daylight, but in the darkness, it becomes something else, a place where history never sleeps, and spirits and Jinn still roam its silent halls, waiting, watching, and walking beside the living. The White House is known across the world as the most powerful home on Earth, the official residence of the President of the United States. Millions of people see it as a symbol of leadership, democracy, and authority. During the day, it looks calm, bright, and full of life, with visitors walking nearby and reporters waiting outside the gates. But behind those white walls, history has been building for more than 2 centuries. Wars, assassinations, secret meetings, emotional breakdowns, and decisions that changed the world. Every room carries memories, and every hallway has heard whispers of power and fear. When night falls, the White House becomes something completely different. The bright lights fade, the crowds disappear, and silence spreads through the long corridors. It is in this silence that many believe the unseen awaken. Guards and staff have said that the atmosphere changes after midnight, as if the building itself is breathing. Some claim the energy inside is so strong that it attracts spirits and Jinn, drawn by the intense emotions, ambitions, and tragedies that happened within these walls. People who worked late shifts reported feeling watched, even when they were completely alone. They felt sudden chills, heard soft footsteps following them, and sensed invisible presences moving beside them. Some whispered that the White House is not just a political building, but a spiritual hotspot where ghosts of the past presidents, soldiers, and forgotten servants still walk silently through the halls. Others believe ancient Jinn reside in hidden corners, observing the living, feeding on the history, secrets, and power that never sleeps inside this legendary house. And so, while the world sees the White House as a symbol of power, those who know its dark side believe it is also a house of spirits, shadows, and unseen residents who never left, even after death. Abraham Lincoln, the tall and serious man who once led America through its darkest civil war, may have died in 1865. But many believe his spirit never left the White House. The room where his presence is most often reported is the famous Lincoln bedroom. During the day, it looks elegant and peaceful, with antique furniture, soft lighting, and historical portraits. But when the lights are turned off, and the corridors fall silent, the room is said to change, becoming heavy, cold, and filled with an unseen presence. Staff members and guests have whispered that they saw a tall, shadowy figure standing near the window, looking out into the darkness, as if still thinking about the nation he once ruled. Some describe the figure as wearing an old, fashioned suit, tall and thin, with a serious posture that matched Lincoln's famous appearance. When they tried to get closer, the figure slowly faded, as if it was never there. But the fear stayed in their hearts. One story says that a first lady once refused to sleep in the Lincoln bedroom after feeling a strong presence beside her bed. She claimed she woke up in the middle of the night and felt someone standing near her, watching her silently. The air felt cold, and she felt a strange pressure, as if someone was trying to speak without a voice. Others reported hearing slow footsteps in the room, heavy and calm, walking from the door to the window, again and again, as if repeating the same routine for eternity. Some spiritual believers say Lincoln's soul is restless, still attached to the building where he made life, changing decisions and faced endless stress and tragedy. Others claim powerful Jinn may take the form of Lincoln's spirit, appearing in his shape to scare or observe humans. They believe the Lincoln bedroom is a spiritual hotspot where the boundary between the living world and the unseen world becomes thin and shadows can take human form. Imagine standing alone in that bedroom late at night. Curtains moving slightly even though the windows are closed, and suddenly seeing a tall shadow near the bed. You try to convince yourself it is just darkness, but then you hear a deep breath behind you. When you turn around, the shadow is gone. But you feel someone is still there, watching you from the darkness, standing silently in the room where Abraham Lincoln once slept, thought, and dreamed. Late at night, when the White House becomes silent and most lights are turned off, something strange is said to happen inside its long corridors. Security guards and staff members who work the night shift have shared chilling stories that sound like scenes from a horror movie. They say that after midnight, the building no longer feels empty. It feels alive. Footsteps are one of the most commonly reported mysteries. Guards walking through the hallways sometimes hear slow, deliberate footsteps behind them. At first, they think it is another guard or staff member, but when they turn around, the hallway is completely empty. The footsteps continue, following them, stopping when they stop, and starting again when they walk. Some guards admitted that they refused to walk alone after experiencing this, believing something unseen was walking beside them. Whispers are another terrifying phenomenon. Workers cleaning offices late at night reported hearing faint voices calling their names. The voices sounded distant, as if coming from another room, but when they checked, no one was there. Some said the whispers sounded like old voices, calm and serious, like people from another century. Spiritual believers think these could be ghosts of former presidents, servants, or soldiers who once lived and worked inside the White House. Others believe Jinn may mimic human voices to confuse and frighten people, drawing them deeper into dark corridors. Doors opening and closing by themselves have also been reported many times. Staff members found doors open that were locked minutes earlier. Some doors slowly creaked open in front of them, as if someone invisible was entering the room. The air would suddenly become cold, and a strange feeling would fill the space, making even experienced guards feel nervous. Some believe these are spirits moving through the rooms they once lived in, while others say powerful jinn roam the building freely at night, using the doors as pathways between the seen and unseen worlds. Imagine walking alone through the White House at 2 a.m., hearing soft footsteps behind you, whispers calling your name, and a door slowly opening at the end of the hall. Your heart beats faster, but you continue walking, unsure whether what follows you is a ghost from history, a hidden jinn, or something that does not belong to this world at all. Many people believe that places filled with intense emotions, power, and historical events become magnets for not just seen beings. The White House is not just a house, it is a center of decisions that shaped wars, peace treaties, and the fate of millions of people. Every president who lived there carried fear, stress, ambition, and secrets that never left those walls. Spiritual believers say such powerful energy does not disappear, it stays, and sometimes it attracts jinn and restless spirits. Some paranormal researchers claim that jinn are drawn to locations where human emotions reach extreme levels. In the White House, presidents have cried, argued, celebrated, and made decisions that changed the world forever. The air is filled with invisible memories, and some say jinn feed on this emotional energy. They may hide in dark corners, behind old walls, or inside silent rooms, watching the living silently. Workers have described sudden heavy feelings in certain rooms, as if the air became thick and hard to breathe. They felt sadness, fear, or pressure for no reason, as if invisible eyes were watching them. Some believe these are not just ghosts, but powerful jinn who can influence human emotions, making people feel uneasy or scared without showing themselves. There are stories that some rooms in the White House feel warmer or colder without any scientific explanation. Spiritual experts believe jinn can change the atmosphere, creating cold spots or strange sensations to show their presence. Others think jinn may take human-like forms, appearing as shadows of former presidents or historical figures, mixing truth with illusion, so people can never be sure what they really saw. Imagine walking through a quiet White House hallway, feeling sudden fear for no reason. Your heart beating fast, your mind filling with strange thoughts that are not yours. You stop and look around, but nothing is there. Yet, you feel something ancient and powerful standing beside you, invisible, observing every step, attracted by the power, history, and emotions buried deep inside this legendary building. Over the years, many people who lived and worked inside the White House have shared frightening experiences, but most of them preferred to stay silent. Some feared being mocked, while others believed the stories were too disturbing to explain. Yet, whispers of fear have followed this house for generations, passed secretly from one worker to another. Several presidents and first ladies reportedly felt uneasy in certain rooms, especially at night. One first lady claimed she felt someone watching her while she walked through an empty hallway. She said the feeling was so strong that she turned around, expecting to see someone behind her, but the hallway was completely dark and empty. Another president reportedly joked about ghosts during the day, but refused to stay alone in certain parts of the residence after sunset. Guards have told stories of seeing shadowy figures at the end of corridors, only for them to disappear when approached. Some guards claimed they saw a tall figure standing near a door, dressed in old-fashioned clothing, staring silently. When they blinked or took a step forward, the figure vanished, leaving behind a cold and heavy silence. Others reported seeing small shadows moving quickly across walls, as if something unseen was running through the halls. Cleaning staff who worked late shifts described terrifying experiences. They heard footsteps following them, felt invisible hands touch their shoulders, and sensed sudden chills even in warm rooms. One worker said she felt someone sitting beside her while she was resting, but when she looked, the chair was empty. She left the job shortly after, believing the White House was not just a house, but a place where spirits and jinn walk freely. Some witnesses claimed they saw doors opening slowly, lights flickering, and curtains moving even when windows were closed. Others heard laughter, whispers, or soft voices calling their names from dark rooms. Spiritual believers say these are signs of jinn and ghosts trying to communicate, to remind the living that they are never truly alone inside those walls. Imagine being a night guard, walking through the silent White House, carrying a flashlight, your footsteps echoing through history. Suddenly, you hear someone calling your name from behind. You turn around, but no one is there. Then you feel a cold breath near your ear, and the lights flicker. You realize that many before you felt the same fear, and many after you will too, because the unseen residents of the White House never left. And they are always watching those who walk through their eternal home. As we step back and look at the White House, we see more than just marble walls and grand halls. We see a house that has witnessed history unfold, wars declared, freedoms fought for, lives lost, and power wielded. But beneath the grandeur, beneath the politics and ceremonies, lies another history, the history of those who never left. Abraham Lincoln, presidents past, servants long gone, and perhaps even jinn, unseen, silent, watching the corridors where the living tread. Every shadow in the hallway, every whisper in the night, every flicker of light carries a story that reminds us that history is not just written on paper, but also etched in the air we breathe, in the spaces we occupy, and in the spirits that linger long after their time in the world has passed. So next time you think of the White House, remember, it is not only the seat of power, but a house of secrets, of lives and deaths intertwined, of history that refuses to sleep. And if you ever walk its halls after dark, listen closely. Because the past may be watching you, waiting for you to notice. History lives not only in the deeds of men, but in the echoes of their spirits, reminding us that some stories are never finished, and some spirits are never gone.